All right, peace, family. Welcome to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio. Today is another Prove Me Wrong, where we're going to discuss the topic of reparations and whether it is forthcoming or likely for African Americans in America. The program today is going to be with Goddess Conswelo. And I'm so glad that she came on. She seems like a very bright woman, and we're gonna hear her out today. So without further ado, Goddess Conswelo, can you introduce yourself and let us know what's going on?
Sure, I'm Conswelo Davis. I reside here in South Florida. I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee. Presently a mental health therapist working on my doctorate in clinical sexology. I treat individuals my focus is treating individuals with trauma and also dealing with sexuality.
And dealing with what?
Sexuality.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's peace. That's cool. I hope everybody can see the... I hope everybody can see anything. So let me hear this. Why do you believe that reparations? I mean, what does reparations mean to you?
Reparations is a debt owed. It's a debt owed to my ancestors for all of the work and enduring the brutality of slavery, along with black codes, Reconstruction, Jim Crow. Civil rights, it goes on and on, redlining, discrimination, right? There's so many things we've had to endure in this society, and we built and created so many things in this society. There's no reason why African Americans, descendants of the enslaved, should be poor and not receiving anything from the federal government at this point in time.
Okay, wait, so you believe that this, so who's supposed to pay this debt?
The federal government.
The federal government.
The United States of America federal government.
Okay, so, and you feel like alright, so the feds should pay this debt. You feel like the feds, and how much do you believe the feds should pay?
It's the federal government that enslaved and supported slavery on American soil, right? Slavery happened, right? All of the colonizers throughout the world, European colonizers. So, we were on the boat, right? So I like to explain it to people like this. Human trafficking. Slavery is the oldest form of human trafficking. Then you take human trafficking and then you turn them into human capital to build this land, right? Then you also, these same individuals, they're living through domestic violence. They've been beaten, they've been raped, they've been sodomized. We've also been lynched. So you got domestic violence, human trafficking, domestic violence, and also domestic terrorism. Because when black people did have their own communities, they still destroyed those. They allowed the white groups, mobs, to come in and destroy and massacre black people in these communities, in their own communities. The federal government, when Lincoln signed off on the Emancipation Proclamation, we didn't get land. He promised the 40 acres and a mule. That's where that came from. There was an attempt by Lincoln to give the slaves something once slavery was over, but in the meantime, he was assassinated within that time. And then when Andrew Johnson came in as president, he reneged on the deal.
Okay. I mean, look, I'm not necessarily saying. I mean, I understand the claim. I understand the claim. I'm more asking. I mean, because I understand why you would ask, but why do you expect white people or the white government, the federal government? Well, one thing let's just contextualize this, because I think it's really important for us to contextualize something like this. what do you say to white people who say, one, because I mean, as far as I understand it, you expect the white people or the white government to pay these reparations, right?
Is it not white people that are in power in America?
Well, I'm asking you,
Is it not white people that enslaved?
Yeah, I'm asking you. So, I mean, I understand that. Like, I don't necessarily think that white people aren't in power. I'm just saying, I'm just asking you if you expect these white people to federally, on a federal level, to repay for the enslavement of Africans. And on that note, I also, well, I mean, since we're contextualizing it and saying, since we're framing it as white people, what do you think when white people say, for one, that maybe that slavery was only 80 years?
I don't know why they would get only 80 years.
Well, I mean, if you were talking about the federal government, if it started in 1786 or something, and then the Civil War ended it in 1860, that would be around 80 years.
But what about before then?
That wasn't America.
That's the whole claim for reparations.
No, I know, but that wasn't United States.
No, hold on. You can't just say it only happened for 80 years because this Civil War happened here. No. The Civil War was based on continuing the institution of slavery in America.
I understand that. What I'm asking you from the perspective of, well, I'm asking you just in terms of what, like, just to contextualize. If
okay, contextualize. Let's contextualize this. You can give reparations to the Jews. You can give reparations to the Japanese.
Okay.
So what are you talking about? So I mean, they gave reparations to the Jews. The federal government right now, our government gives money to Israel for what?
Okay. Well, I'm just asking you. I'm just asking you for contextualization.
What's wrong with atoning for your wrongs?
Well, I mean, look, I'm not the white government, so it's not my wrong.
Well, I mean, I can't. For me, with white people or immigrants that come over and say, I wasn't a part of this, okay, I didn't participate in that. Well, like right now, what's happening with all the racial things that are happening, people have been. This is not new. People have been sitting back and allowing it to happen. You watch it on TV and you say, oh, it's not me, so it don't matter. Well, now it's coming to a point that we have a dictator in office on our own land.
Okay.
Right? And now they're concerned. Because guess what? It's more than just white people. And then he's still coming after some of these white people. Right? You don't play my game, I'm going to get you. That's basically what's happening now.
Okay.
So we've allowed this to prevail, thinking it will not happen to us, and now it's happening to them. And for us, that's been here doing this for a long time, and we know we're strong, we know we're resilient, we came through slavery, we're still here. Right? They're afraid. So now it's voting, oh, everybody, we gotta vote to get him out. Well, you voted him in?
Okay.
Get him out.
All right, well, look, I also, like part of the reason why I would throw in these, these hypotheticals or whatever is just to, hear you articulate on them. It's not really necessarily my position. But
I get people's position, but at the same time, if we're utilizing our critical thinking skills, and if we really look at history and what has been happening, you will understand and see a pattern of behaviors. You will know and understand that you can't treat people, and this is universal law, you can't treat people a certain way and then expect them, after a period of time, to even embrace you, to even trust you, to even want to build a rapport with you, to even want to be around you. And this is what's happening now in America. Seriously, if people can't see that my people, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I birthed black men. So when you say to me, oh, all lives matter, when it's only
just trying to run by.
Well, I can explain this to white people.
Hey, look.
That's what I'm saying. I can explain this to white people.
Okay. My question is this: all lives matter. Let's say
Asian, green, or yellow. What I'm discussing with you right here, right now, is the same thing I would tell them to their face.
I feel you, but look, I'm just trying to figure out this: why should a white person care about a black life?
Are you not human?
I'm human, sure. What about it?
Are they not human?
Yeah, they're human. What about it?
To exist in this world.
Okay, so but you understand?
Coexist.
I understand that, but you understand that these people go to war with other people, and that in war they don't.
And in that, we need to learn that when we deal with them, and you made a comment the other day that ADOS is hostile.
Yeah.
ADOS know what we doing. ADOS know what we up against. ADOS is not ignorant to the fact of who we dealing with.
What are you dealing with?
White people, we're dealing with white supremacy, we're dealing with menticide.
Okay, so then if you're dealing with white supremacy,
even our black people, and I'm noticing a lot of it, will align with white supremacist beliefs.
Okay. So
they will align with white supremacist
Okay, so
values.
could you articulate on what white supremacy would be?
White supremacy is the belief that black people are inferior and that we're not intelligent.
Okay. Does white supremacy value black life?
Huh? Go ahead.
Does white supremacy value black life?
Well, does white supremacy or colonizers throughout the European diaspora or throughout the European world, throughout the world, do you think they value black life?
I'm asking you.
When you pose that, you say that, then you can look at history. What do you think?
Oh, well, there you go. So my question then becomes, if you're going to tell a story about how much your black life is being taken from this white supremacist machine, how is that not exactly what it's supposed to be doing?
What are you saying? I'm not supposed to stand up for myself? And
you can stand up for yourself, but what I'm trying to understand is why...
I'm supposed to just sit there and allow them to degrade me and dehumanize me?
Let me say it this way, as Kwame Ture would put it. Trying to make a moral appeal to something, like we're making a moral appeal to something that doesn't have a moral conscience.
Well, at the end of the day, you can step back and you can say and align with their values and beliefs, or you can continue to fight and show them that you are capable of doing many things, which we already have.
Well, I understand that, but the context, thing I want
so
to understand.
when are black people then going to get together and overcome white people?
Well,
when you gonna get your guns? When you gonna go kill them?
Well, look,
when are you going to go? When are you going to go and sign up and get your militia together?
Well, let me say it's on the calendar.
Okay,
but notwithstanding that, why I say that is because not even to say it's on the calendar. What I want to stress too, because what's really important is that we focus on what could or couldn't happen. So my question is this: you want the federal government to pay out how much money per se, or is there a cash value?
It's not me. It's us. We're ADOS. We're grassroots.
Okay. ADOS wants the federal government to pay out how much?
ADOS is American Descendants of Slavery, and what we've had our economist, Dr. William Darity, professor at Duke University, he's come up with right now $14 trillion, but it really depends on the interest. What interest rate that they decide to utilize.
Okay, hold on a second. 14 trillion in 1 year?
Can go all the way up from there.
14 trillion. What's the time span for this $14 trillion payout?
What do you mean time span?
Like
when they sit down to negotiate or whatever, they calculate.
They're going to pay out $14 trillion in 1 year.
I'm sorry?
You want them to pay out $14 trillion in 1 year?
You're asking if the federal government doesn't have $14 trillion in 1 year. Do you not know that your federal government just pulled out $14 trillion or $13 trillion for COVID?
Okay, But I'm asking you, so you think that the federal government is going to spend out $14 trillion for black people?
Yes.
In 1 year?
It doesn't matter if it's over a time period or whatever. You can set up trust. You can make sure that monies are funneled or sent to HBCUs. Monies are set aside specifically for black businesses. It doesn't matter how or the time, long as it's set and done as a sovereign thing for Americans descendants of slavery, just like they've done for the natives.
Okay,
right?
But look, here's the thing. The reason why I bring up 1 year is because the federal budget is like $5 trillion.
We don't care about the federal budget. We saw how they just utilized the federal budget.
Well, I mean, yes, but it creates a debt.
You can take monies from Israel and put that monies right into our reparations.
$14 trillion.
You're sending to Africa and take that monies and put it right in our reparations.
I got you, but $14 trillion.
Monies that you're sending over to China or whomever else and take that from the federal budget as they do education all the time. When the federal government goes to review the budget, they'll look at education. They'll look at all the aerospace. They'll look at all these different areas. So you're not going to tell me the government can't afford it.
Hold on a second. So you expect the government to stop financing its education, its aerospace?
No, I did not say that.
Its foreign diplomacy?
I already said when the federal government, they go in and look at the budget, you can see they'll go in and they'll cut education, which they've been doing.
So you
it's
want
not
the
that
government?
I said that they should. I said they have been doing it. They have been cutting education for the last 20 years.
So you expect, but again, they've been cutting because they have the budget.
It's an example of how they can go in to their federal budget and negotiate and figure out, okay, we're going to cut this.
Okay, but but that's what I'm trying to clarify. They only had $14 trillion in revenue. So they have to budget according to what their revenue is. You want them to budget their whole revenue and then some, and then next year's revenue,
the federal
and the revenue
does not
after.
have just only $14 trillion in revenue, sir.
$4 trillion.
Regardless, they can make as much money as you saw now.
Yeah, well, if you make enough money, though, that's the trouble. If you make
the federal government can contain their spending and sending money to other countries.
Again,
and
the budget
right
is
here on the soil, U.S. soil. They're already writing a bill for DACA.
Yeah.
There should be no bill going towards immigrants that are illegal in this country. They're illegal. It's against the law. You can take that money you put into that bill or the HEROES bill and put it towards reparations.
Yeah, I understand that, but again, it's not going to add up to $14 trillion.
The federal government cannot pay reparations.
Well, look,
I don't care
it's not that it can't pay reparations. It's just that $14 trillion is 4 times this budget. It's 4 times this revenue.
No, it's not. You got if you go and look, you can go and look and see how much money they're already putting into aerospace, how much money they're putting into all these other divisions, whether it's climate change or whatever. It is not their entire budget. And it can be paid over a period of time because you can set up different trusts or commissions and all of that. So it's not like it's not feasible. It is very feasible. It's just the point of getting people in office that are willing and ready to atone because it's going to happen.
Okay.
And if it don't happen, then the country is going to be destroyed anyway.
Exactly. They'd rather that. Because unfortunately, so how much money do you think each African American should get, or each ADOS should get?
Well, it depends. I think there's going to be a lot of little things that's going to depend in there.
Okay, how much do you think it is?
It's going to depend on what the person wants. If the individual wants to take monies, let me go back.
What is the minimum?
It's going to depend on how much they settle on for the reparations package, right? Along with the black agenda.
They're settling for zero so far. But what do you believe is the minimum?
Well, just with Dr. Darity and what he's calculated, with the $14 trillion, each American descendant of slavery could get up to $250,000 to $350,000.
Okay.
We're saying that cash payments immediately once things are
So just to clarify,
earn out that at least starting with a minimum cash payment of $80,000.
$8,000.
$80,000.
Okay, yeah. So just to clarify, so the abuses and the abuses and horror that Africans went through for several lifetimes and several generations would be recompensed with $80,000.
No, that's cash payment, but I just said it's a package up to starting with.
So what is in addition to this?
I said it was a package.
Okay.
Starting anywhere based on Dr. Darity's findings right now, if it's $14 trillion, it can start out from $250,000 to $350,000 for the entire package. But a cash payment may start out at $80,000, which will be a part of the $250,000 to $350,000.
Okay, so
that is a cash payment because we are attempting to minimize or decrease the wealth gap.
Okay, and your impression is that white people want to decrease the wealth gap?
Well, I don't speak for white people. I'm speaking for Adolf.
Okay, so but my question is,
whether white people want to do it or not, all I'm saying is we are electing people that are going to be in office that will make sure reparations comes on the table and they're going to vote for it.
Okay, but you understand that white people have already voted against it.
There are now, for H.R. 40, there are now 140 senators that have signed on to H.R. 40.
140 senators?
We are now requiring edits. But other than that,
140 senators or congressmen.
Congressmen, the Senate, the people in Congress.
Okay,
so House or Senate.
But you see, the Senate is unfortunately, the majority of America is, on the kind of pro-fascist tip, on the kind of anti-black life tip.
Well, that's where we are right now. And it's the reason why we're about to be, if you don't understand and see what's happening right now, you know that either America is going to fall.
Okay.
Or America is going to rise out of what's happening right now.
All right. Now, and you believe that rise would entail what?
Everything is aligning for America to fall.
You said what? Everything's aligning for America to fall. Okay.
Yes.
And so after America falls, there's no reparations, obviously, from America.
Well, I don't know what's going to come out of it, but I hope that for me and for my people, we already know. We're going to be in position. We know this game.
Okay.
See, this is the end game.
What?
We know this game.
Well, if you say so. I haven't seen.
America falls, then it becomes a third world country. We already know. We can rebuild this shit. It's going to be us, and we can get them out, and we do what we do.
All right, but you understand that black people in America are the third largest ethnic group.
And we've been the smallest, been the only ethnic group here for so long, sir.
No, you've been.
How long do you think we've been here?
You weren't the only ethnic group. You were the second largest, and you were dominated completely.
No, we were with the natives, and the natives. We were the only ethnic group besides of the natives, and we were larger than the natives.
Well, why you call an ethnic group too?
The Hispanics, now that you have your immigrants.
What I'm saying is white people. Hold on a moment.
Alluding to the fact that you think the Hispanics and the white Hispanics and all of you, I guess, black immigrants are up against African Americans in their own country, you got a different thing coming.
No. I'm saying that white people
are still the largest of the blacks. Immigrant blacks only make up a small percentage of the African American
maybe 1%.
population.
No, I'm talking about white people. They are an ethnic group too.
Yes.
Okay,
they know they're becoming a minority in America.
Yeah, maybe in 50 years, possibly, or maybe 30 years. Who knows? But if you believe America is going to fall imminently, which it probably won't. But if you are believing that, then you know that 30-year gap.
I have people around the world right now asking me, what is happening with your country?
Yeah. Well, they probably asked that 30 years ago.
I was in Germany when Donald Trump became president, and I was in Europe, and all of them were like, your country is in a bad situation. Those people, I can't believe your people.
Yeah.
I said, no, you don't say my people. Because that's your white European people.
Gotcha.
That voted him in.
Yeah, well, that's the point.
They even can see that what America has been doing and the majority of white people in America are off. Okay? Something's not right here.
I understand that. But after America falls, don't you think those same people are still going to be there?
No, they're runners.
They're runners?
They're runners. If you don't understand this right here and now. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to leave the U.S., but when they leave, they're going to have their monies.
Okay.
And they're going to leave you to starve and fend for yourself.
All right, if you say so.
I hope so. These people are not going to stay here and they're not able to live their privileged life.
Well,
they're not going to stay here and be in fear that, guess what, some Negro going to slit their throat or some Negro going to come rob them. They don't have protection anymore.
Well, I mean, yeah, the protection thing goes both ways, though. You understand?
What protection? Who has protection? What are you talking about? What do you mean both ways? The majority of white people have been protected in this society.
You don't feel that black people have been protected? I mean, I understand if you don't, but you don't feel like these militia groups would, or the Klan would try to purify their country?
Sir, I've lived through the Klan.
Okay.
I'm from Tennessee where it was created.
So you're under your impression that you don't believe that the Klan would be more active after the decline of America?
No, those people, why would they? They don't have the money. They won't have the infrastructure. They won't have the leadership. They won't know what to do.
So where's the infrastructure?
They got to survive.
Where's the infrastructure and leadership going?
They're listening to a leader. They don't. If that was the case, why hadn't the Klan taken over now? Before now?
Oh, I mean, it did.
No, they have not. Fascism is not KKK. KKK is a terrorist group that hates black people and likes to kill black people.
The KKK are in the police departments. The KKK are what we would call the invisible government. They have actually infiltrated government. They have infiltrated
let me tell you.
They have infiltrated the judicial system.
Right now, then. Well, if that's the case, then why are you not fighting the Klan and bringing that up to the people?
Why am I not fighting the Klan? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Why are you not fighting the Klan right now? You know that the KKK is in the government.
I mean, this is a well-known fact.
Why are you not going out and why are you not holding conversations with white people about the Klan?
Well, look. Well, the reason why I'm not doing it right now is because we're talking to you.
No. Before you were talking to me, are you doing things to talk to white people about the Klan?
Well, my thing is that I don't talk to white people about the Klan or white people in general because because
this is the time, right? See, we have to hold white people accountable.
No, I don't feel like we have to. But if you,
the life don't you feel that way? It don't matter about your life.
My life is of course my life matters, but
okay, so if you're saying you know that the Klan is now in office, the Klan is in the police department,
definitely.
The Klan is going to take over America.
This is what
why are you consciously being obtuse and aligning with the Klan having that much power?
Well, I mean, the federal government itself says that the Klan has this kind of power. I mean, who am I going to report it to? The feds?
Well, it's
the feds told me
that a lot of the police departments are now compromised, right?
Yeah, the feds told me that. So what am I going to tell the feds? Hey, you know what?
So let me go back though. We had a black president. We had black men killed.
Okay.
Extrajudicially.
All right.
And he did nothing.
Well, I wouldn't say he did nothing, but sure. Okay, go on.
He did nothing. He didn't make sure the DOJ, and he had individuals in the DOJ that looked just like us, and they did nothing to make sure that they brought up some policy.
All right.
That they could contain this situation.
believe that, then why do you think that a
a black person may not do anything either? And you're making that, you're proving my point. Black people, especially I've noticed black immigrants that come over here feel like they don't have to do the work. And that it doesn't matter about them because I guess they have a passport, but they feel that they can go back home to their country.
I do have a passport. And I do want to leave the country.
So then they don't fight.
Well, I mean,
but then you want the benefits of what me and my ancestors have been doing forever and a day. Because without us and without the civil rights, you wouldn't be here.
I mean, possibly, but I don't know if that's the case because the reality is that America blocked black immigrants. And I guess the borders kind of opened up, but it depends on what generation you're talking about because, you know, as we know, people like Marcus Garvey came to America, and when he came to America, he already had a West Indian community in America. So it would be... So I don't actually understand...
But Marcus Garvey... Wait a minute, no. You just named one person. You just named one person.
No. There were thousands, if not millions.
Black people, the majority of Americans descendants of slavery, were already here in political office, also already working on reparations. So, you know, and let me throw this out here. The city of Miami was also founded by Americans descendants of slavery, slavery, right? So in order for them, they were working along, a lot of them migrated down to this area once they were free. And they ended up, you know, building like partnerships or friendships with some white people, right, that wanted to start Miami.
Problem number one.
So they ended up befriending each other, building the city of Miami. And what happened was you had some of the Bahamians, pirates that came over, and they ended up interacting with, of course, the slaves and marrying some of the slaves. So when the city of Miami had to formally charter, they still needed so many votes. So of course they asked the blacks, right, the descendants of slavery, to also vote so they could get the city chartered. So in that, some of those American descendants of slaves were married or with Bahamians. So that is how the city of Miami became a city, with black people being founders of the city. And along with some of the Bahamians being a part of that because they were with the formerly enslaved in relationships or married. So I get this, you have your immigrant populations, but the immigrant populations during these times were integrating with black Americans, and we were fighting together when they did immigrate here. It wasn't this, oh, Marcus Garvey did this on his own. No, Marcus Garvey came here. We accepted Marcus Garvey, just like we do now. We built these communities. Immigrants come over. You come into our communities that are established because you're not going into the white communities because we already know how everything was set up. It was segregated. And they also made sure that they built the cities. If you go anywhere in the U.S. in these cities, you'll know that they made sure that the white people stayed on one side and the black people stayed on another side.
Well, look, I'm not disagreeing. I was just pointing out the fact that technically there were already immigrants in America, so I don't know what year you feel.
Marcus Garvey still was born in Jamaica. Marcus Garvey still claimed Jamaica as his home. We all know Marcus Garvey is not an American descendant of slavery in America, and that in that we were already in these spaces and we welcomed him into. Now,
well, I mean, look, hold on a second. Let's just clarify.
That I can tell you about as far as reparations. There was a lady named Callie House out of Nashville, Tennessee, that started a fund to help all of the formerly enslaved, and she was petitioning the government for pensions for the work that the enslaved had done. And she had newsletters, she had she worked with was Douglas. He had all of this stuff going, and these people were paying into this fund, right? Because she was using the money so that she could continue to build and get the federal government to acknowledge that these formerly enslaved individuals needed to have a pension and money. Well, what happened was they decided to find a way to incarcerate her. And what they did was they utilized the post office and said that she was scamming the people, which is an old tactic. They do it today, right? So in that, she had to go to jail, and Marcus Garvey, she had some interactions with Marcus Garvey, and that's where he kind of came in and was able to help pick that up.
Okay.
But I mean, there's so much history here. I was just relegate stuff to just it's not that simple. You'll never get there. There were people willing to help.
Right. Look, I understand that. Look, how many states in America do you believe are Republican states? All right, Grant, do you believe that Republicans will vote in reparations?
Yes.
Why do you believe that?
I believe that because there are some Republicans now that are totally disgusted with their party. They're totally disgusted with what they're seeing. They're totally disgusted with fascism. That's not their belief.
Well, are these Republican politicians or are these Republicans?
These are Republicans, period. And some of the politicians now, we know that they're distancing themselves now from Trump. So at the end of the day, you got the majority leader, Mitch McConnell.
Okay.
Right? So we know as long as he's in the House, then he's going to do certain things.
Let me ask you this.
He's going to align with Trump. He has that power. He has his cronies. Trump has some of his cronies in place to make sure that these things happen. That's why he made sure when he came into office, he fired certain people and put certain people in. Right?
Okay,
so he wanted to make sure his interests are protected. William Barr, Attorney General.
So do you believe that it's in the interest? So let's say this. Let's say there's a state like Wisconsin, right? 91% white. Do you believe that it's in the interest of a senator from Wisconsin who has a 91% constituency to support a bill that essentially would bankrupt America for black people who are not living
a reparation package does not bankrupt America. It will not bankrupt America.
Well, I mean, $14 million is a lot of money.
I do believe because what happens is when you have more people in his constituency that say, yes, it's time for us to atone, it's time for us to move past this, for us to be a great country. If we can't move past this, we can't be a great country.
So you feel like white people are getting ready to atone for the
I see it on Twitter. I see many of them saying, you know what, this is atrocious. And many of them have not known or learned real history. That's a huge part of it.
So I'm just trying to.
What happened is America has doctrinated a lot of the history, right, and what you've been learning.
Of course.
And they have not. People are now really seeing the depth of slavery, how barbaric it was, and they're also understanding now why black folks are not prospering. The original native black people are not prospering in a country that we built and created, or society we created. They are now witnessing their federal government. They're now witnessing people that they put trust in, that they thought were fair, legitimate people, that realize, no, these people have not been acting ethically nor morally, and I do not agree with it. So yes, I do believe a senator with a 91% rate of white constituents will say, yes, I agree to reparations. Yes, I do believe that.
Okay. And they just haven't before because of what?
Lack of knowledge. My people shall perish due to lack of knowledge.
So you feel like the people who write the curriculum, you think, hold on a second.
Property. You have so many other books of research that is coming out.
Let me ask you this, because you believe that the people who purposely write black people out of the history books, who purposely and deliberately misinform their masses, in order for the interest of their own people and for their own wealth, and to increase this wealth gap. The people who purposely increase the health gap, purposely hoard black people into, ghettos with no economic opportunity, and purposely send drugs into these neighborhoods.
These are not the same people.
You feel like, so you don't believe...
These are not the same people. This is another generation. This is another generation that is looking at America for what it really is. They're looking, the lens and decadent veil has been removed, and the lens is, and they're seeing it through the lens of what's real and what really happened.
Okay, so I guess you're not really too familiar with the conservatives of today.
The what?
The conservatives of today.
A great deal of black people are conservative.
I know, I'm saying, I guess you're not too familiar with the, white conservatives of today, of America.
Yeah. Pretty much been living with them. I'm from Tennessee. I've been living with a lot of, what do you mean?
And so you're saying, so if you understand that there is not only there is this quote unquote, liberal white view, if you will, that's coming forward, but there's also this downright, quote unquote racist, white, nationalist point of view, and they are. In fact, if you even say it's a new generation, you must realize that when Obama was running, and that was just 4 years ago, during his time, there was this virulent, even in Florida where you are, I hear that they burn crosses down there, right?
So you're talking to somebody from Tennessee.
Actually, I don't know if you're in Florida, actually, but
we've got communities destroyed. What are you talking about?
Okay, so but I'm just saying that this is not just 20 years ago or 30 years ago or the next generation. This is legit, 4 years ago. In fact, it might be today.
Well, at the end of the day, you still have people here that said that they believe this is not how I believe other people should be treated.
All right, hold on a moment. You understand?
Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So let's go back to this too. In fact, so Trump and Hillary ran against each other in this election. You understand that 65 million white people voted for Trump?
Yes.
Okay, so if 65 million white people vote for Trump, where are these people going to go? Where are these people now?
There's 330 million people in America, right?
Okay. So where are these 65 million?
You got another what? 40-some million, 42, 44 million black people, and that includes black immigrants, right? Then you have the rest of, you got some Hispanics. I don't know their number.
60 million.
So it's still somewhere near ours, just a little bit more.
Yeah, 60 million.
So, but then the rest of that is still a lot of white people, right? Over 100 million white people.
200 million.
Out of 65 million white people.
200 million, yeah. But that's just the ones who voted. Most people don't vote.
There you go. So there's that part. You have that window. You have to educate. You have to talk. You have to speak up. Let them know. I had a Colombian that sat down next to me and wanted to talk to me about my race and what my history. And I was like, sir, I already know. You can't come over here and lecture me about my people and my history when you came over here and I know you got money.
All right. Well, look. I'm just trying to really grasp this idea, though. You feel like white people want to give up their white privilege, if that's a term you want to use, white privilege.
It doesn't matter if they want to give it up or not. At the end of the day, the reckoning is happening, sir.
How does it not matter? Wait, hold on a moment. I want to understand. How does it not matter if they want to give it up or not if you're asking them to vote out their white privilege?
No, it's not voting out their white privilege. It's really stopping a system that is hindering people that created and built this society.
that makes it so that they have privilege.
Your privilege away.
Well, the reality is that part of their privilege.
It's atoning for something that really should be ours in the first place.
Okay.
So your white privilege will still happen.
But why would they give it to you?
They don't give me anything.
Okay.
It's about see, when I say menticide, that's you're showing menticide right now. You're exemplifying what we call menticide, and you're placing them on a pedestal.
I've never heard you say menticide.
They give you the right to something. They don't give you the right to anything.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
You already have that right. You were born into this world.
My understanding is this. All right, let me explain it this way then. It's their budget, right?
No, it's my budget.
Okay, it's their budget. It's their budget.
So when I look at it, it's my budget too, because guess what? That's the reason why Jim Crow Joe and Kamala Harris will not get my vote.
Okay.
You don't tell me and disrespect me. You don't cosplay as me as one. Then you don't stand there as a white man and tell me what my blackness depends on.
Okay. So if you're not even going to vote for them, why would they give you anything?
Why should I give them anything? What have they been giving me?
Okay, so then why would they be giving you anything? I still don't understand. They're the ones in power. You're not the ones in power.
Well, they're not in power.
Okay.
We can put them in power. Right?
All right. So then if they
Joe has been in power for 40 years and he's done nothing but destroy. So why would it make sense for me to vote for Jim Crow Joe or Kamala Harris when they don't do anything for me? So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If we don't get what we need, this is about to fall. It's gonna crumble.
All right. Look, that sounds wonderful.
It sounds wonderful. It's happening, sir. It's not a sounding. It's happening. America has not atoned. The universe is going to work.
Okay. Because
there has to be balance. There has to be order. There has to be justice. So if they don't want to do it and concede it and atone for it in a moral manner, it's going to happen.
Look, I feel you. Dr. King said the same thing. But, I mean, we can say that it's going to be rhetoric, but we can say that. What I want is to understand is,
how do we get white people to join us in our battle and our fight so that we can get what we want? That's what I'm doing.
So you need white people to join you in this fight to essentially
understand.
Get rid of $14 trillion and put it in the hands of you. So close the wealth gap.
It has nothing to do with your privilege, because without us you wouldn't have this privilege.
Yeah, exactly. So why would they want to end it though?
But it's not ending anything. It's atoning for what has happened.
Why would they want to atone for something they did?
How does paying reparations end white people's privilege?
Well, I mean, you said you're going to close the wealth gap, correct?
Yes.
You're going to also.
They're not ending their privilege.
Let me ask you this: Would you be seeking political power? As you.
Many of us are going to be we're already in that, honey.
Okay, so why would
got people in place, moving, shifting, shaking?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Got people in place that are going to be moving up to other positions.
I got you. Hey, let me ask you this. Let's say two of us decide to run for an election, right?
Yeah.
If you win, does that mean that I don't win? Correct?
No, you get the win.
No.
I know.
I'm saying
you will win anyway, because I know, or let's say you will win because on the side that I am, we might not agree on everything, but at the end of the day, if it's for the people, right, you're going to benefit.
Okay, so you believe that? Let's go into a more extreme case. So you believe that if you win political power, that white people also win political power?
You're representing the people. If you're putting forth what you want, and I am representing the people and looking at, okay, so we got this group over here want this, we got this group over here want this. That's my problem with Kamala Harris. You can go to all these I'm willing to work with you on that. But you have the nerve to sit on a griot interview and state, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people. But you're already doing specific things for all kinds of other groups. Just like Obama, he signed a bill for Asian Pacific Islanders. He did something specific for a group of people. He also made sure that Israel still gets money. He signed a bill for a specific group of people. So yes, look at what the people are asking. What do they need? What is it that's going on in their community?
All right, let me ask you this then. So do you feel like black people and white people are at war?
What?
Do you feel like black people and white people are at war, or do you feel like we're cooperating with each other to build a harmonious nation?
I feel like right now, and maybe it's just me being on Twitter or just being a part of ADOS, but I'm seeing like in Cobra, in Art, these are groups that are claiming that the black immigrants or Africans should be entitled to our reparations. No.
I said, do you feel like black and white people are at war?
I can't say all black. No.
Okay.
I work with white people right now that are stunned. They are trying to figure it all out because they've been. I'm telling you, the lens. They've been in this game, and they didn't realize how deep it was. But now they're seeing it, right? They're seeing how the federal government, even though they had their little privilege and they've been living in their homes and having this great life, how it has not been working for everyone, right? And even now, they're having a problem with the federal government taking money for immigrants. When they're like, no. Or the federal government allowing visas for immigrants to come in America and work. When it's us, the citizens here, need education, right? And should be fulfilling these jobs.
So I'm just trying to figure out something. So your idea is that whereas white people have been hostile to black people for, let's say, 400 years, you believe that hostility will end now because of these recent protests, and that it will never.
No, I don't know. No, because I mean, you can see that's not going to end, but that's a segment of the society.
So you feel like just a segment of the society is hostile to black people, but not all not all white people. Not all white people. You don't feel like the majority of white people are hostile to black people.
Correct.
Okay. Well, what if I told you that Martin Delaney Martin Delaney thought that there was just a minority of white people who were actually, not hostile to black people. And in fact, it was the majority. And this is Martin Delaney during 1860, so on and so forth. And he believed that the non-hostile white person was fading away. And not just fading away, but also I think it's really important to realize too that, and this is something that we have to understand as a people, that government is run by, let's say, an elite class, or the rich, or the wealthy, if you will, right? And it's the mentality and mindset of this wealthy population that really affects what governmental policy would be, right? So that even if some poor white person were to say, I really think that black people are nice, and a lot of times they will say that, in order to, flirt with or, trick a black person into, some sort of sexual activity, if you will. But the reason why I bring this up though is that the upper class, the people who are actually responsible in maintaining the society, do not necessarily share this mentality of this quote unquote closing the wealth gap, and or quote unquote this whatever it is that we're trying to whatever it is that you believe this changing mentality is, and because of that. Have you seen? I even like this other brother was putting out this the details of what this wealth gap looks like. $250,000, $350,000 does not close the wealth gap. When, in fact, the wealth gap is actually incredibly huge for white people. So white people have this incredibly huge wealth gap that is hidden to the point where I think it was the top 100 white people, their wealth actually matches for all black people. So all black people in America have less wealth than the 100 wealthiest white people in America. The wealth gap then would not close even if you were to somehow balance out with the average white person, because the average white person, or the median wealth of white people, does not compare to what the wealth of white people have. In that sense, though, you're asking now for this upper class with this huge wealth gap, even over their own people. You're telling them that they're the ones really running the system, not the Cuban guy you meet on the streets, or not whomever. If that's the case, you expect these people who are running a society that oppresses, that, if you want to say, quote unquote, oppresses their own people, and they have been doing this for centuries. Before they even met black people, they were keeping their white poor out of power. You want these people who actually have the power in this community to then give that power not to the white people that they've been oppressing for hundreds of years, even before they met black people, right? But you want them to give that wealth to you, a black person, because you believe that.
You're not giving me anything. We earned this, honey. You don't understand that. You're not giving me anything. We did this.
Okay,
we did this. We created this society. If anybody should be at the same, so you're not giving me anything.
So you don't feel like white people created the society?
We can go in smart and cleverly and manipulate this situation, right? That's where the thinking comes in, critical thinking skills. We're not asking to begging you to give us shit.
Okay.
We already got this.
So, all right. So let's say this is a capitalist system.
So when you say these white elites and giving them, you have to be active. You have to make a plan. You have to make a strategy, because we're not begging and asking them for anything.
But again,
we know that if we can go around and negotiate, sit and talk, and do all these different things, you still have to have a plan of action.
Yeah.
Because it's not a give. It's ours. And if you don't want to work with us and negotiate it, we're going to take it. So hence the reason why I say we're at a precipice in America right now. Right? Either we're going to come out on the good side, or we're going to come out on the bad side.
Okay. Well, as far as I understand, they've been, like I said, they have experience in suppressing and oppressing populations for centuries.
Of course, and this is the problem with us, right? You're here with me posing these questions, all in favor of them.
I'm just going by the theme of the video. I
get it. But in that, you're saying that they have all the power and you're just powerless. That's BS.
Well, if it's not the case, then why are you being hoarded into prisons? Why are you being separated into prisons? Into ghettos?
That's the game.
If you don't have the power,
because guess what? We are the people.
If you have the power,
we are the people.
I'm asking you, if you have the power, why in the world are you letting this happen?
Oh, we're not allowing anything to happen.
Okay, so if you have the power,
that's the name of how they set up the system.
So if it's them who set up the system, then if they set up the system, then how do you have the power?
You're missing a very important component of and you're now a piece of history, right? That now has over time transferred into a different space, right? We're looking at the brutality of history. They started a country with slaves.
Okay.
Over time, they've implemented another system of oppression and racism when we were free. Now we're coming to a point where this system does not work and it's been dismantled.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out this. So you said, who built this system?
The same colonizers that were in Jamaica, the same colonizers that were in the Bahamas, the same colonizers that are over in Africa.
Wait, let me ask you this. You built this country and they built the system?
We were a part of building this country, this system.
So you built the country.
You look at everything in America. You have the handprint, the footprint, the soul, the blood, sweat, and teeth of my ancestors.
All right, I feel you on that. All right, so.
And in that, hold on now. In that, you can look at the grid of D.C. You can look at many of the buildings in D.C. that the slaves built. And you're going to be able to connect some of those things to connect Egypt. Not only that, you look at everything like some of these appliances and things in your house today. It wasn't white people that created it. It was the slaves. From the ice scoop to the air conditioner.
I mean, look.
To your traffic lights.
Let me ask you this, sister, because I actually appreciate this this idea. So somebody would, let's say somebody says, because there's a separation between capital and labor, if you will. You know, and this is like a capitalist country, right? And a lot of times people kind of attribute capitalists, like the capitalist to the creator, if you will, as opposed to the labor. If in the example of, say, let's McDonald's, right? Let's say I'm working behind the counter at McDonald's. Do you believe that I, behind the counter, built McDonald's?
Excuse me?
Like, who do you think gets credit for building McDonald's? If
that's paid labor. We're talking about building a society.
You talking about unpaid labor?
We're talking about building a civilization.
Okay.
This country was built at the hands of slaves.
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
At
one point,
people only know how to instruct. And once we get out of the mentality that they're more intelligent and we're inferior,
I'm out of that mentality already.
Taught you to believe, you will open your world up into how much power you have. And your power is much greater than theirs.
Okay, well, I mean, look, I would agree with you, except for the fact that, like I said,
that's what we're fighting against. As long as menticide, as long as black people really believe that they're in this system and they can't break it, or they don't have any power to do anything, you will be in this place. Look at Africa. It's a prime example. They have land, resources, and the majority of them are black. Why are they not controlling and building and innovating in their own society?
Well, a lot of them are, but a lot of them are.
This is why so we can understand you're posing these questions as if it's about white people, but really it's about us.
Okay.
Really getting to a place where we understand how powerful we are and what we're capable of.
I agree.
In Africa, many of the leaders follow along with white men.
Okay, so my question is this: why don't you just go to Africa?
Bahamas. I talked to a friend. My ex is Bahamian. We used to talk. We have these conversations all the time.
I was wondering why you talked about Bahamas so much. Okay.
How you gonna come to America and talk about black people in America when you got your own freaking country and you do everything that America does? When you can go and step outside the box and create and do what you want to do and be real leaders for your people.
Okay, so all right, so let's say you have all this power, but you understand that you're like 14% of the population of the United States, right? Black people are not the majority in any state in America. Black people are soon, like as you said, with the immigration thing.
What does that got to do with anything?
Black people.
When we know what we're capable of and we built this shit.
Okay.
Right? What does that have to do? It's just the system.
When you say you built this stuff.
Coming in and still believing and following in line with this menticide. Believing in this.
Let me explain this again.
Realize recognize the game. And you know how to play the game.
When you say you built this country, you mean that white people forced us, or forced our ancestors into clearing forests and laying roads.
Did you not understand that?
Okay, so, but you feel like that is the reason for American wealth?
Of course. Do you not know American history, sir?
Of course I know American history.
Well, then why are you asking me that question?
Well, I mean, because again,
that's a proven fact.
American wealth is a little more nuanced in regards to.
It's not. It was built on cotton, sugar, and some tea, and some other rice, and some other things.
Yeah, America's.
Which the slaves planted, which the slaves were out in the fields.
Yeah.
And then when you go to build a city or another place, you have the slaves to do it. And then on top of that, the railroads. We built the railroads. Yeah, the Chinese came over, but we were out there too.
All right.
We also fought in every every war in America.
All right.
So
all right.
how can you say that you don't understand how we were building America?
Well, I mean, no. It's partly. I just wanted to contextualize, particularly for people that might not be familiar with the role.
Well, what do you think a slave was doing then?
What the role the industrial?
What were the slaves doing?
Okay, yeah. So I'm saying with the role that the Industrial Revolution, as well as what the World War II economy did for American wealth, insofar as apparently it was a debtor country up until that point in time, and of course it's recently returned into being a debtor country. But the idea but I'm just contextualizing that American wealth does also have to deal with like it's this post-slavery economy, and some people would even reason that a part of the reason why the Civil War was fought was so that America could become an industrial economy, because the plantation economy was a drain on it. And just to give the parallels so people can understand, Brazil was also a plantation economy, but it did not become wealthy. You know, and so a lot of us to some degree.
And I guess that there was a difference in the slaves, right? That's what I'm gonna keep saying, my people, right?
I feel you on that, not really, but
very unique people.
I don't actually feel you on that, but I'll just say that, sure. But it might not just be that, you know, the enslaved were. I mean, I don't know what you would even reason, because, like you said, that it wasn't really a self-directed effort. So I don't know what you would think would be the responsibility between that. But realistically speaking, and not just that, realistically speaking.
And then in that, you know, they traded cotton.
Yeah, the North was the.
Are you forgetting that part of it? You know, they're trading. They're making these deals, and so you know that's how all of this happened. They got money, insurance companies were making sure that the slaves, they had insurance on the slaves, all this different stuff.
Again, that was
happened around slavery. Okay,
yes, but again, you would see that it wasn't just simply a slave economy, in so much as most of these economies did have plantations, but America really differentiated itself with, you know, through the industry and so on and so forth. That was like post enslavement, and not just that. America, like I said, you know, fought against slavery from the North versus the South, insofar as it could develop its economy further and not necessarily be a debtor country. So a lot of the plantation life was like some accounts of the plantation are actually that sometimes it wasn't really as economically feasible as people.
That's
would like to
but the majority of the country was starting and building, so the economy started and capitalism started with the slavery, sir.
Okay.
It started there.
I'm just giving context to people.
The whole Civil War was, do we want to continue with this institution? Because guess what? Our European brothers and sisters, the British, the Portuguese, or the French, are no longer in the slave trade. So now it's a moral issue.
Okay.
Do we want? It's not right to dehumanize people.
Okay. So, and my question is this to you too: if they didn't feel like paying you then, why should they feel like paying you now?
It's not whether they feel like it or not. It's due. It's owed.
I still don't understand. So,
but
look, here's what I don't understand. You expect them to 50%, 51% of the nation's senators and 51% of the nation's congresspeople to approve of a budget that is 4 times the size of this budget.
It's a dead ode. It doesn't matter. You could have toned back during the Civil War.
I understand that. I understand.
You could have toned back in 1960 during the Civil Rights Movement.
Okay.
You could have toned back in 1980s when we brought up 1990s when we brought up reparations and Conyers brought up the bill again.
And they didn't.
Because you continue to
I understand that, and they didn't.
It's not our problem.
Exactly.
It's not our problem.
But they didn't. They didn't.
It's old.
Okay, but they didn't. They didn't do it then.
It's going to be there until you pay it.
I got you.
Society is going to crumble.
What I don't understand is if they didn't do it in 1860. When back then they felt like, because they lost 1 million people, they felt like they paid it. But
No.
Well, that's what they felt like.
Abraham Lincoln died. He was giving
Sherman.
40 acres
Sherman. No. General Sherman was giving 40 acres and a mule.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And he didn't have the authority.
Got the
He didn't have the authority.
Approval from the president. He can't just go give them 40 acres.
Exactly. That's why you never got it.
But the president to do that, sir.
No. Again, the general didn't have the authority. He suggested it.
And so in that going to negotiate and get it all worked out, which it was on the table, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. So, and then you bring in the racist, the racist president.
Okay.
No, we're not going to give them anything
for the next 200 years and continuing. So the next 100-something years. So if that's the case, then why now? Why would they do it now? If they were able to develop America into a first world country, into the world's greatest superpower, or the world's largest superpower, the biggest military threat to the existence of humanity, in recent history, if they were able to do all of that, based off of
everything that America has been built on, going in, destroying other countries, going in, destroying other societies. And the universe is not going to allow you to get away with it.
Well, it seemed like it did. I don't know any Americans who feel like they didn't get away with it.
Well, guess what? You're living in it now where it's coming to a head. You don't see it? You don't see what's happening?
I've heard people say America was coming to a head 70 years ago. You know what I mean?
No. 2020 is off the chart. 2020 is like no other. 2020 is like everything is happening in 2020 right now.
Yeah, all right. Well,
never have we ever lived through this. This is totally different.
It's not really,
and if you don't understand the moment in time you're in, you're going to miss some great opportunity.
I got you, but so far, black people do not seem to be organized to take advantage of this opportunity. So I
don't know what black people you're talking about, but I know my ADOS is very well positioned.
You think ADOS?
That's why I do feel that other black people are going against us.
All right, look. Let me ask you this.
In arcs.
Since we're talking about,
because they know we're on the cusp and they want a piece of the pie.
Since we're talking about ADOS, just to clarify, you feel like, all right. So I remember ADOS making a big noise maybe 2 years ago about how ADOS 2020, how they were finna run reparations candidates and get reparations on the table and reparations on the platform, all that stuff. So 2 years fast forward, and back then I was saying that's not going to happen, blah blah blah. 2 years fast forward, that did not happen.
What do you mean? Look, it's not reparations on the talking about right now.
It's been talking.
You're talking to me right now because ADOS in the last 2 years has put it on a national platform on a political stage where it was mentioned in a debate.
I'm going to tell you that, first off, it was mentioned at the 2016 debate.
Yeah, by Obama, and he put it on the back burner.
No, I'm saying it was mentioned 2016 debate.
Actual talk, articles all over in the news.
Those are articles from 1990.
Right?
Yeah, they have reparations. They have reparations conversations all the time. That's normal.
No, they were not happening all the time, right? 2 years ago.
Yeah, they were. And I can tell you,
they're not happening on a political front. They are happening now. No, sir.
I just told you it was at the debate with 4 years ago. It was at debate 2008 when. It was
a debate, but I'm talking about now. You literally have on the political reparations because they know we're going to come after them. We're voting down ballots. It's a whole movement. There's many articles going on right now.
Again,
the UN has said, right?
You said what?
So it is different.
No, again, if you were mobilized for the last 2 years, hold on, sis.
What do you mean?
If you were mobilized for the last 2 years to impact this 2020 election, then why do you have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on the top if you're so effective? If you have them as the competitors against Donald Trump. If you're so effective as an organization, why is it that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris... Come again?
We didn't select them.
Exactly. So you didn't select them. So how are you an effective organization?
That doesn't mean that we can't vote and we can't continue reparations and putting it straight forward. And
how are you putting it forward? How are you putting it forward if you don't even have a reparations candidate?
HR 40 is about to be voted on. It can go to the Senate.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
The Republican majority Senate.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me how that goes. Tell me how it goes the fifth time it's voted down.
You need to understand that it's been moving.
Tell me how it goes the fifth time.
You saw only 2 people signed on to it. And that was the 2 creators of the bill. Now you have 140 senators. Congress people, whether they're Senate or House.
Okay, there's 435 Congress people.
And once it passes the House, it goes to the Senate.
It doesn't pass unless there's 200.
To the bill.
It doesn't pass unless there's 200, over 200.
It doesn't matter, sir. You saying that we were not making any headway. You're saying you just stated that ADOS was not making any headway with reparations, and I'm telling you we have made great headway.
Well, look, first off, HR whatever is not an ADOS bill, but let's just say, let's pretend...
It's just a bill to get a commission together to study so we can move forward with the reparations.
And it's not an ADOS bill. 1, 2, it's already been... People were already organizing that bill. So it's not to say that you can't give...
Let me explain something to you. Okay. You're literally saying it was ADOS that should be creating a bill. We're saying we are ADOS. We are the people that the bill is for. And it wasn't ADOS that created the bill.
Alright, let me say it this way. Cobra, however you pronounce it, created that bill, correct?
No. It was ADOS and some others that were on the bill.
HR what? HR what?
ADOS Conyers created the bill.
HR what? What is it called? HR, what's the number?
40. HR 40.
Okay.
So Conyers created the bill back in the 90s. It's been on the table. He's been introducing or trying to get it passed.
From Sankofa.
Retired.
From Sankofa.
Or passed on. So anyway, I remember when it was coming up, you had late great Johnny Cochran. He's gone, but Lord knows. We had Johnny Cochran today, it'll be on and popping. But anyway, so Conyers and a lot of others got together with this bill, and Conyers put it forth in Congress. So now he's gone, and we have Sheila Jackson Lee that has taken over. Well, what we have found out is that she's gone in and edited it from the original and added some other things that we know that, I'm sorry, no black immigrants should be in on HR 40 or on reparations. Now, the black agenda is for everybody, right? Yes, we know you come here indirectly or directly and not understand the system of oppression and racism because we've been here doing this. Right? But in that, you're not entitled to reparations.
All right, look, again, I want to emphasize and stress to the people that it's not hashtag ADOS, it's NCOBRA. So that's a legitimate reparations organization, and they have authored and pushed this HR 40. All right? Not a hashtag ADOS. So I was asking particularly about all this political momentum of the hashtag ADOS outside of them just sponsoring, conventions, and outside of them, giving Yvette Carnell a day job. I want to understand what they have done on the political front if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the top tickets versus Donald Trump and Pence. If they were so politically active and so politically involved, why is it that, or if they're so politically effective, why is it that not only do they not have a bill, but they're trying to claim Nkobra's bill, but also
that's not Nkobra's bill. You do not understand what I explained to you. It was by Conyers, which is Adolf. Now he put a team together, but it was Conyers and Adolf for reparations, along with at the time, but also Johnny Cochran was a part of that team.
But how is Conyers a part of hashtag ADOS?
So in that, he brought in other people, but Nkobra has not promoted HR 40 or reparations in the last 10, 15 years. And they're just now becoming active. We saw them when they saw us gaining traction. So you're not going to tell me it's Nkobra's bill. It's not, because it was created by Adolf.
How was
when I say Adolf, I mean an American descendant of slavery here in America on American soil.
Okay, but I'm asking you about the political movement.
Group that wanted to help and support it, but they have not done anything in over 20 years.
I understand. I'm asking you about the political movement ADOS, the political hashtag ADOS. What have they done?
ADOS has been doing many things. You know who ADOS is? ADOS is Martin Luther King. ADOS is Malcolm X.
I'm talking about the hashtag. I'm talking about the modern phenomenon.
Individuals that have been working on civil rights.
Okay.
But it also would be working on reparations.
I feel you. I'm just asking.
ADOS has been doing reparations, I said before, like I'm going to say it again, since 1865. We already been in this game doing this for hundreds of years.
Okay. So, all right, if you were doing it for 100 years.
Nkobra can't come here and claim that they just now did a reparation.
All right, let me ask you this. If you've been doing it for 100 years, why are you not effective? And how are you effective?
I'm going to say it again, since you don't understand. You have a people that had to come through slavery, human trafficking, domestic violence, terrorism, but it's been us moving the needle on everything. It's been our people. Okay. Civil rights didn't happen without us.
All right, let me ask you this. So the basic structure of white society is to oppress another group. And in America, that group will always be black people. Do you agree or disagree?
If you want to accept that, that's you. That's not me. I don't accept that. I will not be oppressed. I will not be content in stating that white people get to oppress me.
It's not about content. It's just about, you know what?
The system they have, I'm going to say it again.
Okay.
Creating a system.
So you think white people are going to recreate their system?
Excuse me?
You think so do you believe that white people have this system up and they don't like it? Is that what you're saying?
I believe that white people are now becoming more conscious about how this system has been oppressing black people.
All right, and let me ask you this. So
they've been living in their bubble, and they've been thinking and believing in these stereotypes that a lot of black immigrants will come over and believe as well, that black people are lazy.
Okay.
I hear that. I'm like, how can black people in America be lazy?
All right, look, I feel you.
There's all kinds of myths and stereotypes. Black men are criminals. They rob, steal, and kill. But who is actually rob, stealing, and killing? There are so many stereotypes and myths that people, I'm going to go back to it, the menticide. If you believe and align with a lot of things that these people have said, instead of opening your eyes and really implementing your critical thinking skills.
All right, sis. Look, let's just. All right. So I noticed that there's quite a few comments on the YouTube channel. You mind, because I know we have limited time, so you mind if I just go through and see if we could ask you some of these stuff?
Sure. Go ahead. All
right. Let's see. Let's read the Sheba. Blah, blah. Here we go again. Focusing on. Okay. So somebody said, "Here we go again." Focusing on black immigrants that barely got any of the same benefits as European immigrants that automatically merge into whiteness. So why the focus on black immigrants? You mentioned black immigrants quite a bit.
It's a focus on black immigrants because you all should be our allies, right? You all should see or know the game. Like, you're seeing it play out right now.
So you feel like
but instead of saying, wow, I didn't realize this was happening and that I'm a part of the system, because you are, right? So what they do is, and what I see a lot of here in South Florida, is that they know you're not me. So in that, they will say, oh, well, I'd rather give the black immigrant a chance than to deal with the black from America.
So let me ask you this, though. You feel like black immigrants have not been an ally?
No.
Okay, so you feel like all black people, all quote-unquote black people from America were allies, but all black people from outside of America were not?
Well, I mean, most black people, besides of those slave. Now, don't get me wrong. We have black people in black leadership right now.
Well, I know that.
We are not that even ADOS. We're not happy with.
Okay, so then why is the focus on immigrants if you know that?
I think it's because.
So wait, you feel like? Hold on a moment. Let me ask you this.
Hold on. You said that ADOS was hostile. ADOS goes after anybody that wants to perpetuate this white supremacist belief, including people like Al Sharpton. He's ADOS. We don't care for him. We don't even care for Joanne Reed or Mark Thompson.
What I'm saying
There's
is
a lot of people.
Yes, but you layer.
My thing is what I'm seeing on Twitter and what we're seeing a lot of with ADOS is a great deal of black immigrants saying, oh, I came here, I did this, I did that, but you wouldn't be able to do this and do that if it wasn't for us.
I understand. Look, sister, what I'm trying to understand is this, that you have this hostile tone towards immigrants, or you layer your insults, or you layer your criticisms on them being immigrants. Is it your belief, but as far as I understand, even those who are not immigrants, they're not necessarily always going to be politically aligned with you. But for some reason, you hold it in a further extreme. That if somebody was an immigrant and they're not politically aligned with you, that's worse than if somebody went through the same suffering as you did, as you would claim, and then they didn't hold a political alignment with you. Why is it worse for an immigrant to not be politically aligned?
I'm gonna go again.
Well, I'm asking you, why is it worse for an immigrant to not be politically aligned than it is for a non-immigrant?
Because for me, when I look at it, if you don't, and I think it's because of lack of knowledge, once again, it is bad to me because the reason and the opportunities you're getting are already the opportunities that my people already fought for.
All right, so let me ask you this though. So you feel like, so there's two-part question. You feel like black immigrants should kiss your feet? That's
no.
All right, so
I feel like black immigrants should respect American descendants of slavery, and I see a lot
let me ask you this.
I've seen. Hold on.
No. Actually, I want to stress this right here.
I can give you an example right now of a black immigrant that is in a space that he should not be in.
I hope he's not talking about me.
And his name is Camacho, whatever his name is. He's Nigerian.
Okay.
He's doing these uncomfortable conversations.
I don't know what you're talking about right now, but...
Well, you look him up. I'll send it to you. Okay. He's doing these uncomfortable conversations with white people about, black people and racism.
I understand that. So you think that he should not have a job. Got you. Look, I want to understand this.
Sir.
Do you feel like...
You're not hearing me out, sir. You're already making an assumption and you're not allowing me to speak and explain why I am saying this.
What? All right, go for it.
He is holding conversations with white people about black history.
Okay.
And the history of America and what has transpired in America.
Okay.
Right?
What about it?
He is an immigrant that he's a first generation immigrant.
So you feel like immigrants...
Second generation immigrant.
You feel like immigrants cannot know... Like, what's the point? Do you feel like...
You keep interrupting me,
okay.
Yes?
Well, I'm just trying to understand because I feel like immigrants can know American history.
Hold on. Hold on. You're not letting me finish.
All right.
Allow me to finish my point.
All right.
And maybe you'll understand where I'm coming from.
Well, I just know we got limited time, that's why. So I was just...
Okay. Here's the thing. He is having these uncomfortable conversations about American black history. When you talk about Emmett killed. And you weren't even here. You don't even know our history. You don't even live in our community. You were raised in a white community and privilege. And now you want to have uncomfortable conversations with white people about ADOS that you never experienced.
Okay.
That's my issue.
Well, I still don't understand, because why can't you, as an individual from another country, comment on American history?
Because you don't have that experience.
Okay, so
you lack the nuances of a lived experience.
So let me ask you this.
Hold on a minute.
Let me clarify.
It doesn't matter. You don't sit with white people and appease them when you know and you see that black people are being extrajudicially killed by the police, and you appease them to make them feel comfortable.
Look,
and not only that,
I want to understand you.
That history and these experiences that we've had in this country, it's not the same as you.
I understand what you're saying, but let me ask you this. So
you can't come in our spaces and be and act like you us.
All right, let me ask you this. I got you. So
it's disrespectful.
I understand you. I don't understand. I feel like America has this thing called freedom of speech, but if it doesn't, that's fine.
It's freedom of speech, but you're in uncomfortable conversations. It's about race.
I got you.
It's
Look,
about race that we've been doing this and we've been in this.
I got you, sis.
Not you.
Let me ask you this though. So there's this.
It's like Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is not me.
Sister,
She's not a black woman.
I understand what you're saying. Let me ask you this though. Have you heard of the documentary Goodbye Uncle Tom?
No, I don't know anything.
Okay, it's like one of those slave documentaries. It's really brutal. It really examines the American slavery system, and it really goes into the harsh detail. Some people cannot watch it through. I do recommend people to try to watch it. But here's the thing about it. It was made by some Europeans. They were not a part of they were not a part of the American enslavement experience, right? So do you feel like white people should say do you feel like white people should say, why are you talking about the enslavement of African people in America? Why are you trying to put that? Why are you trying to have that kind of conversation? You weren't here.
What are you talking about? My ancestors.
No, white people. No, white people telling. I'm saying, do you feel like white people?
Okay. I got people that descended from that.
Hold on a minute.
That is me.
I'm saying.
Their blood flows through my veins.
I don't think you heard me. I don't think you heard me.
Right today, generation.
I don't think you've heard me.
Multi-generational trauma.
I got you.
Okay.
I don't think you've heard me.
DNA.
All right. I don't think you heard me. So it's kind of like you're responding to something I never said. Oh, now I'm echoing. Okay. So what I'm saying, what I said was that it's a European group made a documentary on the enslavement of African people, right? Do you feel like white Americans should say, or do you feel like white Americans should be saying, why are you as Europeans making a documentary or making speaking against the enslavement of African people? Hold on a moment.
I would look at them and say that they're brave and courageous and bringing the truth forward.
Okay.
How can I be against them?
So that's the thing though, because you're not against white immigrant groups, you know, who are commenting on.
Let me tell you something.
African.
I'm against all immigrants that come over here and gonna try to down my people like we haven't been doing anything.
You just called them
brave.
brave.
I don't think you're right. What? Because let me tell you this. There's been plenty of white immigrants to come to America, and they have been settled. They got set. Okay. Homestead Act. And even in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where George Floyd was killed.
All right, so
there was a whole neighborhood of Scandinavia.
So here's the follow-up question. Let me ask you this follow-up question, because this is actually a really important question. Do you feel like black people in America control the borders of the United States and the economy, and the economy and the borders? Do you feel like black people in America control the economy and the borders?
We have for many years controlled this economy indirectly.
Okay.
Because when you look at everything, black people spend a lot of money on a lot of things. And not only that, with our music has generated all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
So let me ask you this.
Not only that, we have created so many things like your remote control, like your security
sis, hold on a moment.
All that stuff has contributed to the economy of America. So yes,
I got you. So look,
we do a lot.
All right. So my question is this. So you're saying that so it's Black Americans who have the embassy in Jamaica, or Black Americans who have the embassy in Korea, and Black Americans who have the U.S. embassy in
I've been here.
in Germany.
Yeah, it's mine. I've been here.
No, I'm saying
my ancestors been here.
I said the U.S. embassy.
Yeah, it's ours. Yeah,
I said the U.S. embassy. I'm saying you're the one who.
U.S. embassy. I'm a U.S. citizen.
No. Okay.
I pay my dues.
All right, you might not understand what I'm saying.
It's mine.
Okay, so look, are you saying
that
that
people that pay their taxes built this country?
I got you. Look, what I'm saying is, are you the ones? Are Black Americans collectively filling out, like accepting and visiting on these, or checking out and reviewing these visas that these immigrants are using to come into this country?
Yes, and that's even more reason why I say Kamala Harris, she's already promised her Indian family or Indian folks visas. You don't think we don't know this?
So what I'm just trying to figure out is, okay, so if you're really controlling...
DACA is illegal immigrants. Why are illegal people that are illegal?
What I'm trying to understand is, if you're controlling these borders and you're controlling this economy, right? Then why are you? Then how is it that why is it that
indirectly? And once again, I'm gonna state this. You want to say that we're in power, like we are the leadership. That's where your point is coming across to me. But indirectly, we have the power.
Okay, but if you have this power, then why?
As long as we are infanticide and believing that we can't do and we don't have the power, then we're gonna always be in this place.
Look, sis, I want to hear you, but I need you to kind of understand what's being said, in the sense of, one time I went to.
No, you're literally saying like you're in power and you control the embassy. You're in power, so you get to control this. We already know that we're not literally physically in
exactly,
power.
But right? So if you're not in power, right, then why is it that you feel like people owe you for citizenship in America?
Because
why don't they owe white people for citizenship in America?
We don't come to America and get citizenship, and we don't.
What I'm saying is,
when we built this.
Hold on a second. What I'm saying is this: why do they need to be loyal to you if they could be loyal to white people who actually brought them here?
Well, I don't see you being be loyal to white people.
Well,
you can be loyal to white people, but that's your mental side. There you go again.
And you believe it's mental side? Look, I'm not.
You've already given white people your power.
No.
At the end of the day, you believe that you are truly inferior, and that you need white people to get to the next level.
I'm asking you.
You've done yourself a disservice.
I'm asking you why somebody is owing to you, if realistically speaking.
It's owing to us because we built this. What do you mean?
Okay, so you feel like white people did not build this at all?
White people, yeah. But they got paid. They got theirs.
So if white people
got land.
So who built more? Who built more? White people or black people?
Hold on. You asking me something. I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay.
White people got land come here as immigrants.
Okay.
White people have also been able to get certain opportunities and privileges. Also, immigrants now come over here and they're given things as well.
Exactly, by white people.
And so, here's the point of the reparations. My people built this shit.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
We created this society and we don't get help.
You don't, and you're not going to.
Nobody gives us anything.
And you're not going to. They're not going to give it to you.
And that check is coming in.
They are not going to give it to you.
You get stuff, right? You get stuff, so you're okay. You don't think it's okay for us to do all the work and then you get the benefits?
Well,
is that what you're saying to me?
Well, look, not me particularly.
No. Is that what you're saying to me?
You're asking me if I would. Well, as far as if I were inside. If you're asking me,
black immigrants or immigrants feel it's okay to come to America, knowing the history of how America has oppressed the people that really
reality about America. If you want to really clarify, right? America uses those same black soldiers that fought in every war. They use those same black soldiers, those same quote-unquote African Americans, all over this world to oppress other black groups. So let me clarify. Let me clarify.
Levels on it now.
No.
Levels on it because you know when you come to America, you're making that choice. You make that choice.
You have
to stand in that choice.
So here's the thing.
Don't act like now America is great for you to come to the country and live and then align with the oppressor.
I don't think America is great, but what I understand is, look, I don't think America is great.
Of fighting in your own country.
I understand.
Your own country to be great.
I think that that's the case. I think that we should actually fight in our own countries. I believe you. I'm 100% with you. But what I'm saying is this, that as far as I understand, that there is a majority of black people who are loyal to America. And I do not think I don't think it's awkward if the local black Americans are loyal to America, and some of you, even you adults, wave this American flag. If you guys are loyal to black America, I cannot necessarily say that the black immigrant would not be. I don't think if you're not loyal to your own people, that black immigrants will be loyal to you, especially given that black immigrants are being provided for.
We are loyal to our people. We here. Our people, blood, sweat, tears.
Again, you wave the American flag. You wave if you wave the American flag. No, if you wave the American flag and you fight in America's wars and you go to other countries and kill black and brown people across the world, right? Then no, you're not loyal to your own people. You are not loyal to the African race if you're doing that kind of stuff.
That's it. There you go. Hold on. This is great. This is a great point. Even Martin Luther King stated, black people in America were not African, right? We have created our own unique culture. We cannot even relate to Africa. Because guess what? Through the brutality of slavery, we had to give up everything what we knew about Africa.
Hey, sis, you know what? Look.
We had to create something totally different in this space. So no, we are not. ADOS is not indebted to Africa.
So look. If you believe
African brothers and sisters that also sold us into slavery.
Sis, if you believe that, then why do you want people to be loyal to you?
I do believe that.
Why do you want people to be loyal to you?
Right now
Sis,
in America,
hey.
and if they go, and our people have to do things, and it is what it is. But you're over here and you're doing it too.
Sis,
so when you pose that question,
sis,
you made a choice.
Sis, hey, look.
You made a choice. We didn't make a choice.
Sis, I appreciate
We had no choice in the matter.
Sis, I appreciate this conversation. I think it's a wonderful one. I think, let me just clarify that if you do not believe that that you are only loyal to African people, it does not make any sense why you believe that they should owe loyal to you. However, I think that would be a different conversation for another time if you want to. You know?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
I think we need to we can hit so many corners because even Martin Luther King, that was his big thing. He was like, "There's no way we can be connected to Africa," and we're not. We're not.
Sis, you definitely is connected to Africa. Just look at your face.
We are in a way, but no, in other ways, no.
But
we're
look,
very tribal. Africans are very tribal.
Hey, whoa. All right. Let's save it for the next podcast.
And African Americans have not been tribal, but we're tribal now. We're learning.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it.
Nobody looks out for us unless we look out for ourselves.
All right, sis. So look, we're going to definitely. If you wanna speak again, we can do that. I'm going to. We can keep the Discord.
Yeah, just hit me up.
Okay, we can keep the Discord on just a little bit. I'm just gonna try to sign off of the live. Send people back home. Maybe I should tell people that you were listening to the Pro Black Perspective with Goddess Conswelo. Matter of fact, though, if anybody wants to figure out where to get you, how can they get to you?
I'm on Twitter at the Goddess, GODDEZ, and then do you want to put in my email? You can put in my email.
Sis, you can do whatever you want. You can tell them whatever you want.
Yeah, go ahead and put the at Goddess on Twitter, and then my email address is.
You there? Okay, so everybody, my internet might go a little bit slower because I'm trying to end the feed. But but you can keep talking. You can tell them your email address.
My email is goddess GODD. Can I type it in? Will they see it?
No, they won't see anything.
Oh, okay. So my email is goddess GODDESSH WELL @gmail.com, and I am at the goddess on Twitter. So that's the @CHEGODD.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you being here. I'll let people know that you could follow me on Twitter at Onitaset, ONITASET. You could catch me on YouTube. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you already did. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. I tried to have a respectful conversation with the sister. I hope the sister feels like I was respectful enough.
It's good. I think I like to pick it up.
Okay, and then hopefully she'll be right back another time. But so far I'm just trying to sign out. I don't know how to because this computer is garbage. But I'm gonna try to work on a better computer. Like I might not get any reparations, but if somebody does get reparations and they wanna help me get a computer, that would be nice. But
all right.
But all right. Sis, you gotta go, right?
Yes, okay. I'm about to sign off. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of here.
Just close the application, and then you'll be good. But let me see if I could try to sign this off. So, otherwise, everybody, I hope everybody enjoyed it. Appreciate your time. Maybe I could just, maybe I'll just shut down my computer, and hopefully you don't lose too much data. Let me just see how far the video went. Alright. Yeah, it looks like it's cutting and stuff. Let me just see if I can log out. Hold on. Anyway, everybody, again, you're listening to KWAZ Radio. Let me just make sure I can...